Before I begin, I'd be remiss if I did not mention the passing of Jim Crockett Jr., who passed away at the age of 76 due to organ failure. It's impossible to encapsulate the career of a man that was in charge of the only wrestling company that was within spitting distance of Vince McMahon during his national and international expansion in the 80s. Jim Crockett Promotions, when I think of NWA style wrestling, I think of Jim Crockett Promotions. Now, that's not to say that other territories didn't have that NWA feel. Obviously, they did. But in the 70s, but especially the 80s, it was just amazing the hot crowds that they had. I mean, he took over his father's business when his father passed away in the early 70s, and just so much great stuff. So many great talents, so many great feuds. Everything just had that real feel to it. Yes, there was a little bit of entertainment and stuff like that, but everybody worked hard, and he was the main guy that made me fall in love with that style of wrestling. It was just a great collection of Southern territorial wrestling. It was just really goddamn good, and he will be sorely missed. I'll do a full tribute proper at some point, but he will be sorely missed. He will not be forgotten, though. His influence will not be forgotten. Thoughts in my heart go out to his family and friends. Rest in peace, Jim Crockett Jr. You will be missed. Now, I'm John Rentham with my review of AEW Dynamite. See you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. And no, I'm not going to try to rap the rest of that song because I don't want to. I just don't want to, because I would just butcher the goddamn thing. But yeah, this is their go-home show for AEW Revolution. And did this show make me more excited to see AEW Revolution? No, this show did not make me more excited to see AEW Revolution. And I'm saying AEW Revolution a whole lot because, man, they were really plugging this thing. Probably because they realized the card kind of looked shit. I will be doing predictions for the show. I'm ordering every single AEW pay-per-view. You know why? Because I want to support the talents I care about. And I want to see if that main event's going to be a goddamn train wreck. And I'll say this much about the show. This particular show, there were a few decent moments, but this was not a well-worked show. It was just matches for the sake of matches, especially with a few of them, and just a couple particular segments. One, particular segment right after the second match where I'm like, wow, this is really, really bad. Anyway, Cody's entrance is straight up ego stroking. It's Cody and Red Velvet with Arn versus Shaq and Jade Cargill. Let me say right now, if Jade can get to where she's at least a decent worker, get, to where she, gets brought along and can get, pretty good in the ring, she's going to be a goddamn star for years and years to come because she looks like $1 million. She does. She has the personality to pull it off. Shaq also looked like he couldn't be bothered to give a good goddamn. I mean, yes, he did one bump where, okay, cool, he did that. And it was as safe as possible. He was doing bongo chops to Cody. I mean, he was just bong, bong, bong. It's like he was hitting his nipple. Oh, I hit Cody's nipple. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, Jade and Red Velvet mainly did the bulk of the work here. Shaq got kicked outside, well, knocked outside, and then Austin Gunn hits him with a chair, and then Shaq slams him and starts beating him up because why the hell not? He's upset at QT Marshall, and we're trying to make it like Shaq's out of control. Shaq didn't look like he could be bothered to give a shit about this match. Red Velvet did hit a moonsault outside. Later, a figure four by Jade where she's doing a double bicep post. She's got the personality to pull this off. It's actually, it wasn't that bad. We get 2 tables set up. Powerbomb by Shaq. Ooh, a slam to Shaq, sort of. It was a hip toss, McMahon. And then Cody dives on Shaq through 2 tables. Ooh, table spot. Maybe if I didn't see table spots on every single goddamn show, this would actually mean something. Like, oh, holy shit, Shaq went through 2 tables. Well, he hit 2 more tables and he would have hit free throws at this point. Shaq was never that good at hitting free throws, if you know. And Shaq, just wait. Shaq actually, does a stretcher job a little bit later. The women get a little bit awkward towards the end, but you know what? These things will happen since Red Velvet and Jade are going to, our projects are going to need to be brought along for a bit, but they carried their, or held up their end of the bargain about as well as they could. Double arm buster and 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So Jade got the victory. It's what she should have gotten. And you know what? It wasn't bad. It wasn't the train wreck I thought it would be, but that's a good thing, and hopefully Jade can get even better. And Red Velvet can get better as well. Shaq gets loaded into an ambulance. Shivani's going to go check on him. I need to get some words from him while he's being loaded into an ambulance. And then he disappeared. The magical disappearing Shaq. What in the world? Did he just get assumed into heaven? What happened? Did Charles Barkley call him back and say, Shaq, come back to Inside the NBA on TNT. This is terrible. So, I don't know what the point of that was. It was very, very odd. Thanks for coming, Shaq. I don't think Shaq's ever going to be on Dynamite again. This was very, very strange. Pac and Phoenix versus John Skyler and D3. It was quick. Pac dived on one of the guys. 450. Sit out spike. I don't know what the hell that was. 1, 2, 3. And Pac and Phoenix are also going to be part of the tag team battle royal. MJF and Jericho press conference. Hosted by Dasha. Well, Dasha hosts for about, barely gets in a few words. And let me say right now that Jericho has taken a fucking nosedive as far as just his in-ring career. I mean, not focusing on Super Spreader Chris Jericho, but just focusing on his in-ring career. He's taken such a dive, he's doing bad comedy. He's dragging MJF down to his bad goddamn comedy. We get a Barstool Sports guy. The mic doesn't work, so he doesn't, get any... We don't even hear his goddamn question. Why is Conrad Thompson here? Genuine question. I cannot stand that guy. That guy fucking annoys me. I don't know why. He just does. I do like how MJF called him turkey tits, since that is a insult he has on... that he says to him on Twitter, which is kind of funny. Hey, why did you attack Papa Buck? I mean, and everybody's asking this. It's like, MJF does get off a few good lines. He says, I don't shop at Target or Baby Gap like you people do, and he's just insulting everybody. And MJF is trying to make the best of this extremely bad segment that actually gets worse. Suddenly, Eric Bischoff. Hey, Chris, we've known each other for a while. Why would you antagonize the Bucks at this point and give them more of a reason to be upset at you? Does Eric Bischoff actually even know what the Bucks did? Or does he even know? Well, right, he briefly worked with them when they were Generation Me and TNA. Actually, just recently retro-reviewed Victory Road 2011. That really bad pay-per-view from TNA that would have been bad no matter what company put it on. The Heroes of Wrestling of TNA pay-per-views. I'm serious, it was bad. Okay, this was really bad comedy. Really, really shit comedy. They've done press conferences or State of the Union shit and stuff like that, and all of it's been bad. And then the Bucks show up. You've made this personal. The Bucks are the least intimidating tag team I have ever seen. Just absolutely, as far as like mainstream tag teams, they are so goddamn infuriating and not intimidating at all. I mean, and also, outside the ring, they're goddamn idiots. But it's like, our father made us the men we are today. That explains so fucking much from their dad that looks like a discount Waylon Mercy. Dollar store Waylon Mercy. You know how bad you have to be a dollar store version of Waylon Mercy when Dan Spivey was not a good worker at all? He built the ring for them. We built this ring on rock and super kicks. No, that's a bad song right there. Hey, Jericho, what would you be doing if there was no AEW? Oh, you'd probably be jerking the curtain at the Performance Center tonight. You just can't leave it alone, can you? You just can't focus on yourself. And I'm referring to WWE when they do this shit, too. Maybe stop taking the pot shots when you guys can't even crack a goddamn million viewers each week. Now, pretty soon, in about a month, NXT is going to be moving to Tuesdays. It should have been the case. We should have not done this whole Wednesday Night War because their ratings together aren't even cracking, a fraction of what Raw or Nitro did on their worst day. I mean, seriously. Yes, AEW has done better in the ratings. I'm not even talking about the demographics. I'm talking overall ratings. NXT on USA has basically been a shit show as far as ratings, but just maybe don't take shots at that and worry about the fact that their show isn't very good. I mean, in Dynamite, I've given a lot of slack to AEW, and Dynamite has not been a good show. It has not been good at all. There's been elements of good things, but overall, Dynamite has really taken a fucking dip. And boy, I'm going to have my Revolution predictions up at probably, within, I'd say, the next 12 hours or so. But if you think that I'm excited for that exploding barbed wire death match, you got another thing coming. This was absolute goddamn trash. They said, sometimes you have to kick ass. We get tables, dives, and garbage. It's just absolute garbage. This is supposed to make me care about the Bucks versus MJF and Jericho. This was not good. And speaking of garbage, we get a video package on the exploding barbed wire death match with Shivani and JR talking about this. It was good to see Onita. Good to see him. He seemed to be happy they were doing this, at least according to the caption people. And probably because the check cleared. Look, if you guys like deathmatch wrestling, that's fine. I don't. I think deathmatch wrestling is stupid. FTR and Tully with JJ Dillon. Suddenly, JJ Dillon. Because they're doing the whole Horseman thing again. Versus Jurassic Express. Yes, unfortunately with the midget. Tully had the old US title he had during his feud with Magnum. JJ used his shoe. Who uses a shoe? Honestly. We get a hot tag to Luchasaurus. This match was a mess. Tully took a bump for the midget. Why don't you just take a shit in the middle of the goddamn ring? And let me say this right now. I have nothing against Marco as a person. It's embarrassing to watch this stupid midget, this worthless waste of skin of a wrestler be in a ring. And he shouldn't be in a goddamn ring. He shouldn't be. Jungle Boy has a chance to be a big star. Luchasaurus, they work fine as a team. Marco should not be in the ring. It's embarrassing. And Tully basically just shit on his legacy more. And this was after he did Heroes of Wrestling, which was not. And the sad thing is, him and Stan Lane had the best match on the show, but that's not saying much. What the hell was this? It was a mess. We had Powerplex for 2, Slingshot Suplex to Marco, and then a masked guy stops Jungle Boy and hits Luchasaurus with a camera. Oh no, who is this masked man? Who's that jumping out the sky? Tully pins Luchasaurus after a spike pile driver. Here's a question. Why didn't you pin Marco? And yes, I know they cut the horns off of Luchasaurus, but I'm not upset that Tully got the victory, since it's his first match in a number of years, and should be his only match. I don't think he should ever wrestle again. Why didn't you just pin Marco? Because seriously, you already cut the horns off of Luchasaurus. There was no reason to pin the dinosaur. I like FTR, and I like Tully. I just don't understand why Marco wasn't pinned, because Marco should be the one always taking the pin, because he's fucking worthless. Seriously, he is. He's absolutely worthless. Anyway, the masked guy is Shawn Spears with a blonde mohawk. Did anybody know that Shawn Spears was gone from Dynamite? Because I actually didn't. I totally forgot. Who's he going to be? Like the Mongo of the Horsemen? And no disrespect to Mongo as an entertainment guy, but somebody said, oh, Shawn Spears is going to be the Roma of, the Paul Roma of the Four Horsemen. Roma was a good worker and decent enough on promos and actually, achieved some success. Shawn Spears has achieved fuck and all since that feud with Cody. And it's not even that he can't work. It just, I don't know what this is. Arn Anderson seems intrigued. Shivani then welcomes Paul White. No more BS shirt. I did like that. That was funny. Paul seems happy to be back on TNT. JJ Dillon, Tully Blanchard. Well, actually, JJ Dillon, Arn Anderson, and they got even Shaq on WCW programming, like they had him at Bash at the Beach '94. So yeah, you got a whole bunch of people. You got Paul White, you got Shivani, you got JR, you got everybody back from various points in WCW's history. And I'm not saying you shouldn't respect the legends, but at some point you got to move on. And Paul White seems happy to be there this Sunday at Evolution. Except he wasn't happy enough to remember the name of the goddamn pay-per-view, and that there's going to be some big debut. Who's the debut? Seriously, I don't know who the hell the person is that they signed. Watch, it'll end up being the former Zelina Vega, Tia, Trinidad, and Tobago. So, whatever. Paul White and Shivani are going to do commentary for AEW Dark Elevation. I don't know what the hell Evolution is, but maybe I should just roll with it. Sheeta is at ringside, looking, god damn, she is beautiful. Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero versus Ryo Mizunami. It's the AEW Women's Tournament Finals. Was there a clamoring to bring Vicky Guerrero back? And also, was this clamoring made by anybody with a brainstem? I don't know what Vicky Guerrero, serves as far as a purpose at ringside. Nyla Rose doesn't need a manager. She can cut her own promos. And Vicky's doing the same shtick that got old by 2012. So, we got some heavy strikes, and I'm not sure what the hell she's doing, but she's having fun. JR says about Mizunami doing the rope thing. I don't know what that was about. We get a senton by Nyla Rose. She misses guillotine leg drop on the apron, almost a countout. How Mizunami beat Aja Kong. And then we get clubbing blows. Some good stuff. This is actually a pretty well-worked match. It was two hosses, two big women, fighting each other. And then big knee off the top by Nyla for 2. Superplex by Nyla. German by Mizunami. A spear and a leg drop off the top. 1, 2, 3. Mizunami versus Shida. Okay, bit weird. Would have thought they would have gone with Nyla, but you know what? Since they flew Mizunami all the way over, that probably should have been an indication she was going to win. And Shida congratulates her, and then they start beating each other. Okay. Maybe the match will be good. It's Sting! And Shivani interviews Sting. He's interrupted by Ricky Starks, who says, "You still got it. Oh, but you're not an icon. Slap." And then Sting gets the Scorpion Deathlock on him and falls over. He's a 61-year-old man that can't do anything. He couldn't do the Scorpion Deathlock to Magnus at Bound for Glory 2013, which was almost 8 years ago. It was like 7.5 years ago. Like, seriously, guys, don't have Sting do that shit. Hobbs and Hook get Starks. They get Sparks. They get that weird energy beer that, used to be around. And then Darby saves Sting. And all the stuff, and Team Taz is just leaving, by the way. There's 2 of them, and then there's all these guys that are like, well, our work is done here. Toddle off. 10 of Dark Order with, or 10 with all the Dark Order, took on Max Caster. And it was a qualifying match. Scorpio Sky on commentary because it's a ladder qualifying match. He says this guy's big but a small talker. I'll light you up like Lady Gaga's dog walker. Now, that shouldn't have made me laugh. It really shouldn't have. But you know what? It was funny. It was really funny. It's dark, but it's funny. And he mentions the Ronnie Garvin Fireball because he went up like the Challenger. Remember that line? Yeah, he went up like the Challenger. This was okay. I also didn't care about the match. Like the Acclaimed, nothing against any of the members of the Dark Order, but I don't really care about the gimmick. Jack Evans hits 10 with a boombox, and Caster covers for 3. Matt Hardy then pays Evans a bunch of money because he's going to take out every member of the Dark Order. And thanks, buddy, for doing that. I couldn't be bothered to do it because I have a match next. And by the way, special Dark on Saturday, and then commentary runs on the card for Revolution. Miro talks about Charles and how he's going to beat him at Revolution in a tag match. Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn versus Page and Silver. This is your main event? That's what I wrote. Nothing against anybody involved, though Matt Hardy should not be wrestling in 2021 and shouldn't have been wrestling after that spot with Sammy. I'm amazed that he's still alive. I didn't care. And we get, Buckshot pinning Mark Quinn, and then everybody just runs out and does this. After Matt Hardy, bashes Page in the head with a mic, the Dark Order come out, and then everybody get in here, and everybody from the Tag Team Battle Royal runs out, and it's just a goddamn mess. And you know what? That's all I got to say about that. It wasn't that it was a messy show. That's really all I got to say about that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.